periodic check-ins with us, and the things that are directly related to fire, we still have input on.
Okay, that's all my questions, Chairman.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any questions? Thank you. Chief, can you tell us exactly, so we can put a proper motion on the floor, exactly how you would like that motion worded so we don't leave anything out?
So for that first ask, we are asking to change the fire marshal from a division chief to a battalion chief level position, because there's less supervisory responsibility.
To battalion. Yes. Marshal.
From division chief to battalion chief.
Okay. Change the, I think I still got it wrong. I apologize.
Change. So we want to make the fire marshal, we want to switch the fire marshal from a division chief to a battalion chief.
Okay. I left the division chief off. That's where I was getting wrong. Thank you. The chair will entertain a motion on the fire department's request at this time. Mr. Escovitz?
I move that we support the recommendation of the chief of changing the fire marshal's office oversight or management from a division chief to a battalion chief.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second. This is Carter Webb.
And Mr. Escovitz has moved, and Mr. Carter has seconded that the fire marshal's position be moved from a division chief to a battalion chief. Is there any further discussion or any further questions? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Mr. Escovitz?
Aye.
Excuse me, Mr. Webb?
Aye.
Mr. Devereaux?
Aye.
And I would vote aye. Mr. Hahn has not yet joined us, so there is a quorum, and that would be a unanimous vote. Okay, Chief, is there anything else you'd like us to consider?
Yes, ma'am. My second request has to do with how we test for these processes. So we want to streamline the testing process here. So to streamline the testing process, we're asking for the process of when we ask for internal qualified candidates first. That's just, we always do that. We always look internally. We want to make sure they meet all the qualifications that we have listed in the position description. And then if there were no internal qualified candidates, what we want to do is then open it up to external and internal at the same time, preferred candidates that meet the preferred qualifications. So we're basically streamlining that. Instead of going from, currently we do internal qualified, then we go internal preferred, and then we go external preferred. We just want to do internal and external preferred at the same time. So my request is that we go from internal qualified, and then the second and final step be internal and external preferred at the same time. We want to do this for all the fire marshal office positions. So the battalion chief that we just talked about, the fire and life safety educators, the senior deputy fire marshals, and the assistant fire marshal, those 4 positions.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? Mr. Devereaux?
Yeah, Chief, question on the preferred versus qualified. Can you explain the difference between those two terms?
So I'm looking at a qualified, let's see if I can find an example here for you. So required qualification would be that you have to be a North Carolina firefighter. well, maybe there's nobody who meets that required qualifications. So we would hire externally somebody that met all the other qualifications that we were looking for, and then work to get them the North Carolina certifications after we hired them in.
So in that case, I mean, I guess what I'm asking is which is sort of the higher standard, that somebody is qualified where they have met all the qualifications? Is that the highest one versus preferred where?
Correct.
they've-
Required qualifications are the ones that are typically higher. And then we would do the preferred after that.
Okay.
Any further questions?
And this is not any different than what we've done before. We've gone from required to preferred before. The big difference in the request here is that we're combining when we go to preferred, that we do the external, internal at the same time.
Oh, just saves a step, like you say.
Yes, yes.
And then you're still, if you're going down to that preferred pool, you're still going to pick who you believe the best candidate is, regardless
Absolutely.
of whether they're internal or external at that point.
Yes.
Ms. Jaskowitz?
Chief, is there a time frame that you use when you first go with internal required qualified to and then to internal external preferred? What is the time frame that you move from one level to the next candidates?
Hold on one second.
Is there a time frame that you work
I'm
with?
asking my staff that question right
Oh,
now, so they're
okay.
going to give me the answer, and I will give you the correct
I see.
answer.
Okay.
So I'm being told that it's based off of city policy, and it's a minimum of 10 days that has to be advertised at that point.
Okay.
One more question, Chief, make sure I understand. So I think I'm getting this. In the past, when you drop down to preferred candidates, you had to go internal first, and you might end up with a candidate that was sort of not quite qualified in all these areas, but they look pretty good, pretty close in some areas. But now, if you have to hire that person, there might be an external candidate that is head and shoulders, even though they're not qualified either, but head and shoulders above that internal candidate. You don't want to let that opportunity pass by. Do I have it?
Absolutely, sir. You hit the nail on the head right there. That way we can have the better qualified candidate for doing the work here in the city.
Any further questions, comments? Hearing none, the chair will entertain a motion on the preferred qualifications. First is required qualifications, request from the fire chief. Mr. Devereaux?
See if I got this right. I move that we approve the chief's recommendation to streamline the testing process by first asking for internal qualified candidates and then moving to a combined pool of internal and external preferred candidates for all FMO positions.
Is there a second? Mr. Jaskowitz?
I second that motion.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Mr. Jaskowitz?
Aye.
Mr. Devereaux?
Aye.
Mr. Webb?
Aye.
And I would vote aye as well. There's a quorum, and that is a unanimous vote. Chief, the third item?
Yes, ma'am. The next thing has to do with that battalion chief position that you approved previously here in request one. It's the same position description and requirements as our operations battalion chief, but we want to add 2 additional requirements in order to fulfill that role as a fire marshal that are fire marshal related and specific. One of those is that they have the North Carolina Fire Inspector 3 certification, since they need to run the fire marshal's office. And two, that they are IAI, International Association of Arson Investigators, certified fire investigator. So they need to be IAII certified fire investigators and a Fire Inspector 3 certification to that battalion chief spot that you previously approved.
Thank you. Are there any questions or any further comments? Hearing none, the chair will entertain a motion. Need a motion from a board member.
We may need the chief to restate
Okay.
Yes, I think that would be
that.
best.
It sounded good, but
I can do that for you. So the two additional qualifications for the battalion chief for fire marshal is the International Association of Arson Investigators, IAAI certified fire investigator. And the second one is the North Carolina Fire Inspector 3 certification.
Thank you, Chief. Chair will entertain a motion.
Alan?
Let me see if I can get this right.
That's all you're writing. I
It's
figured
a
you
good
got it.
preface. The board wishes to approve that the following qualifications be used for battalion chief, and that is
But that's the battalion chief in the fire marshal's office.
in the
just
fire
that one.
marshal's office. I'm
Yes.
sorry, battalion chief in the fire marshal's office, that the fire marshal have AAIA certification.
IAAI.
I'm sorry, AAII.
Nope, I'll try again. It's IAAI.
Oh, IAAI. Let's try this again. Board wishes to approve the following motion, that the battalion chief in the fire marshal's office have IAAI certification for the fire marshal and North Carolina Fire Inspector certification. Is that correct?
The level 3 on that last one, Fire Inspector 3.
First one's fire investigator.
Okay.
And the IAAI one, it's the fire investigator certification.
Let's try this again. Board wishes to approve the motion that the battalion chief in the fire marshal's office have the IAAI certification for the fire marshal investigation,
Fire
Yeah.
investigator.
fire investigators certification. I'm sorry.
Yes.
And the North Carolina level 3 fire marshals certification, fire marshal investigation certification.
No, sir. It's the North Carolina Fire Inspector 3
Fire
certification.
Inspector 3. God.
I think the difficulty is we're used to looking, I think, on the documents that you provided us at ask number 2 and ask number 1, but I don't see that information in ask number 3, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's where I think the other two we were pretty clear with.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The battalion
So we're kinda-
chief in the fire marshal's office have the IAAI certification, fire marshal certification, and the North Carolina level 3 fire marshal certification also.
Okay. I
Fire
just
marshal
found it
certification.
in the
certification.
document, and it's that's in the document I provided under the overview, like one of the paragraphs in there, it words it for you specifically. So you can read it right off of there, which might help. The IAI Certified Fire Investigator and North Carolina Fire Inspector Level 3.
So that's 3/4 of the way down on the first page, Alan, since you've been unfairly tasked with doing this. Sorry.
Okay, thank you. I was looking on next page. So, again, the battalion chief in the fire marshal's office has the IAAI certification fire investigator and fire inspector 3 level 3 certification.
That's correct. Yes,
North
sir.
Carolina.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Eskovitz.
Sorry for that.
It's okay. We want to make sure
Carter, thank you for your help.
for the minutes that it's correct. Thank you both.
And I will proudly second that motion.
Thank you, sir.
Carter Webb. It's Carter
There
Webb.
is a motion by Mr. Eskovitz and a second by Mr. Carter. Is there any further discussion or questions? If not, all in favor, say aye. Mr. Eskovitz,
Aye.
Mr.
Gladly.
Devereaux,
Aye.
Mr. Carter,
Aye.
and then I would vote aye. Don't see Mr. Hahn present. We have a quorum. That is a unanimous vote. Thank you, gentlemen. Chief, is there anything further that you have for us to consider at this time?
Yes, ma'am. I have one last request. This is outside of the fire marshal's office. We were previously instructed by the city manager for our departments to find ways that we could work together and share positions. We have done that in one of our positions. We had a 3/4 time employee that supported all city departments, but primarily the police and fire departments. We in APD can use this position jointly to support our public safety radio needs, but it needs to be elevated from a 3/4 time to a full-time person. The city budget department approved that with our budget request back last July. So with that approval, what we need at this point is for you to approve our testing process and the components of our testing process. I believe Ms. Provence provided you the document. So rather than me read those to you, there are 5 parts to that process. And if you look at that, it's very similar to other processes that you approved in the past. So the testing process for that public safety radio branch program manager is the name of that position, includes a structured interview weighted at 20%, a prioritization exercise rated at 30%, a stakeholder session rated at 20%, a technical performance assignment rated at 30%, and then fire chief's discretion at 5%. These are very similar to what you've seen in the past. All of this has been provided to PCAT, who has looked at it previously and approved as well.
Mr. Eskovitz?
Question to the chief, and this relates to the previous 3 motions that were passed. At one time, the fire department had a individual who was in the fire marshal's office and was jointly sworn with the APD for investigations and the ability to make arrests on site. Has that ever been explored again in terms of finding somebody? And the individual I know was in the fire department at that time, went through rookie school and got sworn with APD because I was in the same class as him in 2013.
It is certainly a way that other departments have done business. And it is something that is worthy of looking at within our organization, but our organization currently does not do that.
Okay. That's all. That's my only question, Chair.
Mr. Devereaux?
Yeah, Chief, on this, just out of curiosity, with the 3/4 time position that you have currently or in the past, how did they have to go through this similar testing process, or the 1 through 6, or was it a different kind of thing for a part-timer?
Because they were part-time, they did not have to go through this testing process.
Oh, gotcha. So this, and like you say, this is kind of in line with your comparable full-time equivalent positions.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Anything further? Any other questions? Hearing none, the chair will entertain a motion.
Okay, I'll try this one. I move that we support the chief's recommendation to, as the department transitions to a public safety radio branch program manager full-time position, that the testing process for that position be implemented with the 6 components that the chief provided us. 20 points for a structured interview, 30 points for a prioritization exercise, 20 points for stakeholder sessions, 30 points for technical performance assignment, and 5 points for the fire chief's, per the fire chief's discretion, for a total of 105 points.
Thank you, Mr. Devereaux. There's a motion on the table. Is there a second? Mr. Eskovitz?
I'll second the motion.
It's been moved and properly second. Is there any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Mr. Devereaux?
Aye.
Mr. Webb?
Aye.
Mr. Eskovitz?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Don't believe Mr. Hahn has joined us. We have a quorum, so that is a unanimous vote on that one. Anything else, Chief?
That's all I have, and I appreciate your time this afternoon to go over all these. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you and your staff for the service you give to our citizens. Have a great rest of the day.
Thank you, ma'am.
Going down the agenda, the next matter would be our public comment. Is there anyone in the virtual world, in the public, that wishes to make a comment? Hearing none, we will move on. Is there anything we need to discuss about future agenda items? Mr. Eskovitz?
I don't have anything.
Oh, okay. Hearing none, is there any other business that anyone thinks needs to be brought to the board today?
I just want to briefly recognize that we had procedural history set here today. I don't think I've ever seen one member make a motion that another member make a motion. That's unique. That was, we're going to call that a Carter motion. That was good.
The Carter Doctrine.
I didn't realize I made a motion. I was just helping Alan after I kind of threw him under the bus.
And I appreciated that help.
If there is nothing further, then our next meeting, if I'm looking at the calendar correctly, will be December 5th at 2:30. And hearing nothing further, the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn at 3:19 p.m.
I make a motion, this is Carter Webb, that we adjourn at 3:19 p.m.
Is there a second?
I second Rick Devereaux.
It's been moved and properly seconded that we adjourn the meeting. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Mr. Webb?
Aye.
Mr. Devereaux?
Aye.
Mr. Eskovitz?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Mr. Hahn's not present. We have a quorum. That's a unanimous vote. We stand adjourned. Everyone have a wonderful day.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks.